you know, trans kids, this is it right here. That's the coach. Trans kids belong. They had a conversation together. They walked up to each other. They had the talk. And by the way, just so you know, we did not know this. I Googled to see which side Cheryl Reeve is on. She's actually lesbian. Nothing wrong with that. But they're having a conversation here to the left. That's Sophie and her talking. Then the post-game interview, she's being interviewed, the coach, and the question is asked. And here's what the coach had to say of the opposing team. If you can go to what the coach had to say of the opposing team in the post-game interview.
Drop everything you are doing right now and listen closely. The entire world of women's basketball just seemed to shatter overnight. Behind closed doors, far away from the flashing cameras, tensions were reportedly reaching a boiling point. For weeks, rumors swirled about frustration, physical play, and growing controversy surrounding the Indiana Fever. But according to the claims now circulating online, Caitlin Clark may have finally reached her breaking point. What began as speculation has exploded into a story that has fans demanding answers. Reports, accusations, and heated reactions have spread across social media, turning what was once locker room chatter into a national conversation. Some claim the situation escalated after coaches and organizations became involved in broader social and political discussions, while others argue the real issue is the growing divide inside the league itself. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: emotions are running high. Questions about loyalty, player treatment, and the future direction of the WNBA are now dominating headlines. And at the center of it all stands Caitlin Clark, whose every move continues to attract enormous attention from fans, media outlets, and league insiders alike. To understand how this controversy reached such a dramatic point, many are looking back at events that unfolded in Seattle, where an already tense atmosphere reportedly intensified debates about basketball, politics, and the growing pressure surrounding the league's biggest stars.
Things that, we have in common, and maybe some things you differ on, just like any issues. And I think it's how you handle things. And so...
You can pause it right there. I want you to now watch what Caitlin Clark's
nice
coach had to say when she was questioned. This is Caitlin Clark's coach. Okay, go for it.
Your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports? What's your personal stance?
Watch your answer.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't.
Oh my.
No, but wait a minute. You got to keep playing it. Is this the only clip we have? Oh, okay.
I think that's it.
Because she says, I used to play with men when I was a kid. I always played with men when I was a kid. And she answers the question like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not this. I'm not that. And then the game's being played yesterday. Sophie Cunningham gets hit in the face by an elbow that pretty much almost like massive foul. They called the foul on her. I don't even know if we can even play this clip or not. If you
Caitlin Clark had remained quiet through months of criticism, hard fouls, and growing controversy around the Indiana Fever. But according to the story, everything changed after Sophie Cunningham allegedly became the target of intense scrutiny and backlash. The narrative claims that tensions reached a breaking point following a heated game in which Cunningham was reportedly shaken by the treatment she received, prompting Clark to finally speak out inside the locker room. Witnesses allegedly described an emotional scene as Clark, frustrated by what she viewed as ongoing disrespect toward her teammate, confronted those around her and expressed her anger. The story portrays the moment as a turning point, suggesting that Clark's loyalty to Cunningham and the Fever locker room became stronger than ever as frustrations over league politics, criticism, and player treatment continued to build, setting the stage for what supporters described as one of the most dramatic moments of the season.
Problems that we have in our society, we have to still play this trans kids belong. And listen, I pray for those people. I pray for those people that are confused. My heart goes out to them. I literally pray all the time. Like, let them figure it out. Talk to somebody that's going to do it instead of them patting you on the back and saying, you know what, take your breast off or chop your penis off. And the majority of those people have freaking depression and they wind up killing themselves. Or if not, they wind up shooting up places and they call us transphobic. Give me a freaking break. break. Shut down the WNBA. Where's the money coming from? Name me a company that loses $40 million a year and people still put up with this. And mind you, Caitlin Collins is your superstar.
Caitlin Clark,
Caitlin Collins, whatever, potato. That's how much, Adam.
Well, it's technically, if you can't do potato in the NBA, then
exactly.
it's
But Adam, think about
and
this.
she got you new TV and sponsorship deals, and that money is being used to pay the players, and now you don't need her.
And great point, Tom. Are you ready for this, Adam? They hate her because she's white. She's the nastiest player in the league, and everybody, the coaches, the refs, the players, all hate on her because she's a white star, and she had to bend the knee too. I'm done with the WNBA, bro. I'm tired of it. Is that bad? I'm furious.
wrong?
No, am I wrong, Pat?
So where are you at with this?
I'm just, Vinny, I mean this sincerely. Thank you for coming over.
Finally, you got me.
Thank you. Just stay out of
FYI, just so you know, that's not happening. The first team in WNBA just got $1 billion valuation. Their revenue's up to $500 million. They're not profitable yet, so it's not like they're making money now. But Vinny, there is no way this thing's going away because the simple.
Caitlin Clark did not just yell and walk away. She went completely nuclear. Within 24 hours of that explosive locker room confrontation, absolute chaos erupted when reports surfaced that Clark's legal team had stepped in. What had started as growing frustration over Sophie Cunningham's treatment suddenly escalated into something far bigger. Sources claimed Clark's attorneys were reviewing whether the repeated incidents, hostile treatment, and lack of league intervention had created an unacceptable environment for players. The mere possibility of legal action sent shockwaves throughout the WNBA, with executives, team officials, and league leadership scrambling behind the scenes. For years, Clark had been viewed as the face of the league's future, the player driving television ratings, merchandise sales, and unprecedented fan interest. Now, according to the reports, she was no longer willing to remain silent while teammates she trusted were being targeted and left unprotected. The situation quickly became one of the biggest stories in women's basketball, with fans debating whether Clark's actions represented loyalty, frustration, or a demand for accountability. Regardless of where people stood, one thing was undeniable. The tension had reached a level nobody could ignore, and the entire basketball world was suddenly watching to see what would happen next.
They were upset with me, man. They were upset. I was surprised. Some people liked the take. Other people were upset with the take. You know, and listen, Kelsey was hot. I'm not saying that. But it's frustrating to never get the ball when you're open in the half court. And I mean never. Venom Reacts noticed it. Man, we got to get you over to the Caitlin Clark zone, Venom. Venom noticed it. He saw it. He always sees it.
Like, look at this, man. They got raped.
Yeah, Venom always does solid breakdowns. Awful coaching-esque breakdowns of these Indiana Fever games, really exposing some things that we all talk about and exposing things that maybe a lot of us haven't seen. So shout out to Venom as well.
Raven Johnson bringing it up. CC's relegated.
As soon as Raven Johnson was in the game, you knew that it was over.
To the left wing. This is sad. Stephanie White, like, this is sad, man. Kayla Clark, like, even look at the way Kayla Clark walked away from Aaliyah when Aaliyah tried to talk to her. Like, look right here. Look at Aaliyah Boston and Kayla right here. Aaliyah tries to talk to her, and Kayla turns to her left side like, girl, stop talking to me right now. Get ass, stop talking to me. I don't want to hear shit you guys say right now. I'm just being honest. Stop talking to me. I like this, though. I like this. Because all the stuff that I'm saying now is starting to come to the light.
Cece, stop being friends. Stop trying to be friends with everybody. Let them know. Let them know we ain't doing this hub BS. You're the hub. You're the engine. You're not wheels. You're not an exhaust. You're not a hubcap. You're not headers. You're not cams. You're none of that. You are the engine. You are the actual engine itself. The V12 of the Indiana Fever, not the hub. Let them know, hey, we're cool, but we ain't that cool. I'm gonna need that rock.
Caitlin Clark's frustration reportedly reached a boiling point after weeks of growing tension surrounding the Indiana Fever and the treatment of teammate Sophie Cunningham. According to the story, Cunningham became a target after refusing to fall in line with pressure from opposing coaches, leading to accusations of harassment, biased officiating, and public criticism directed her way. What allegedly pushed Clark over the edge was seeing one of her closest teammates repeatedly singled out while league officials remained silent. Following a particularly heated game, reports claim Clark confronted team and league representatives in an emotional locker room outburst, demanding accountability and defending Cunningham's role within the organization. The situation escalated even further when rumors surfaced that Clark's legal team had become involved, allegedly exploring action related to harassment and emotional distress claims connected to the treatment of Cunningham. While the reports remain highly controversial and unverified, the story has sparked intense debate among fans, with many viewing it as a defining moment that highlights growing tensions within the WNBA and Clark's willingness to stand up for the people she believes have supported and protected her throughout her career.
As a hill they're willing to die on. We've talked about this. We all have our hills. The WNBA has basically said, this is the hill we're willing to die on, because the L, the G, the B has been grouped in with that T, and they need to basically protect that T. And in the NBA, because I'm the local NBA guru over here, we know. Yeah. You know, they say, you live by the you say you live by the 3 and you die by the 3, right? So the women of the NBA are gonna die on this hill if it's the last thing they do. And they're not double dribbling. They're doubling down on this nonsense. And at this point, I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm sitting there eating my popcorn just being like, you have this generational talent, Caitlin Clark, and you're running her out of the league. And you have this beautiful person, Sophie Cunningham, who's basically saying, listen, I'm just a normal person. I'm not political. I just don't want dudes in the locker room with me. And they elbow her in the face and they go, that's a foul on you. Yeah, shut your mouth.
Oh, God.
So I don't believe they're doubling down, Adam, but here's why. You're right, but I disagree on this angle. There's never been DEI that's been a special program brought into the WNBA. Never has. It was the culture from day one. Their culture was this. Well, this was the culture.
I don't mean this disrespectful. They're all lesbians. A lot of them are lesbians.
The point is, DEI was brought into certain companies and they faked it and they put up programs. We have a DEI program. Mm-hmm. They had DEI DNA. This was it since the beginning. And what you are seeing is a culture clash.
Caitlin Clark reportedly reached her breaking point after weeks of growing tension surrounding the Indiana Fever and the treatment of teammate Sophie Cunningham. According to the narrative, controversy intensified after coaches and players became divided over political and social issues, with Cunningham allegedly facing criticism, hostility, and unfair treatment because of her stance. Sources claim the situation exploded following a heated game, when Clark witnessed Cunningham struggling under constant pressure and decided she could no longer stay silent. In a dramatic locker room scene, Clark reportedly confronted league and team officials, accusing them of failing to protect one of the Fever's most loyal players and warning that she would not stand by while Cunningham was targeted. The story further alleges that Clark's legal team quickly became involved, threatening action against those responsible for what they described as harassment and emotional distress. As news of the dispute spread, league executives were said to be scrambling to contain the fallout, while fans rallied behind Clark for defending her teammate. The controversy has sparked intense debate across the basketball world, with supporters praising Clark's loyalty and critics questioning the escalating conflict, turning the situation into one of the most talked-about storylines in women's basketball.
Well, that Caitlin Clark actually got some calls last game. So I'm sure the officials saw that, and they made sure today that she didn't get any calls, and she didn't shoot many free throws. That was the thing today. You refs got to stay off Twitter, man. So reactive in this league, man. What a league this is, man. But yeah, this was all game. And I get there at home and I get that, if you call that every time, all Minnesota's guards would file out in the first quarter. But still, to never call it is the opposite way. And I'm not talking about just fouls, I'm talking about to never call this. This is a foul, okay? If that's Olivia Miles, that's a foul. Olivia Miles is a rookie. Hasn't paid her dues. Doesn't have to mention Cheryl Swoops.
That's true. The rules were reversed for calling a foul on this. And I think that's everybody's biggest gripe. If this wasn't called by any across the board, fine. But the fact that it's such a double standard, maybe not double standard, the fact that there's such hypocrisy involved, it's like, all right, well, we're going to call fouls here. No, I think double standard is the right word. The fact that we're going to call fouls when it's Caitlin Clark playing defense, but we're not going to call fouls when they're playing defense like this on Caitlin Clark, well, that's the issue. We need it to be fair across the board.
And all the veterans, Cynthia Cooper and Teresa Weatherspoon, every time she opens her mouth, she's not required to do that. And she hasn't even paid her dues yet.
The situation has now evolved into a full-scale showdown between one of the league's biggest stars and the basketball establishment. According to the story, Caitlin Clark's reported legal challenge has created shockwaves throughout the WNBA, leaving league officials, coaches, and executives scrambling to respond. Supporters view Clark as a loyal teammate willing to stand up for Sophie Cunningham when she felt no one else would, while critics worry the escalating conflict could create even deeper divisions across the league. As speculation continues to spread, fans remain sharply divided over what happens next. Some believe Clark's actions could force meaningful changes and greater accountability, while others fear the controversy could overshadow the game itself. Whatever the outcome, the debate has become one of the most talked about stories in women's basketball, and all eyes are now on the next chapter of this ongoing saga.